A new stadium opens in the center of a major city. It costs more than $1 billion. Every seat is sold. The luxury boxes are full. Thousands of fans buy food, merchandise, and parking. Sponsors have paid millions to place their names across the building. It looks like an unstoppable money machine. But a packed stadium can generate enormous revenue and still struggle to justify what it costs to build. And that contradiction reveals the real business behind modern stadiums. The building itself is often not the ultimate product. It is the centerpiece of a much larger system involving sports franchises, television exposure, corporate hospitality, public financing, and extremely valuable real estate. To understand the problem, start with the most visible source of money: tickets. Suppose a stadium holds 70,000 people. If the average ticket generates $100, one sold-out event produces $7 million in gross ticket revenue. That sounds extraordinary until you compare it with a construction cost of $1 billion, $2 billion, or, in the most extreme cases, more than $5 billion. Even worse, the stadium does not necessarily receive all that ticket money. Depending on the event and contract, portions may belong to the team, league, promoter, performers, or ticketing partners. Taxes and operating costs remove more. And unlike a hotel or supermarket, a stadium cannot fill itself with paying customers every day. An NFL team normally plays only a limited number of regular season home games each year. Playoff games are not guaranteed. Concerts, college games, and special events can add dates, but every venue is competing for the same major tours and spectacles. So the stadium's first economic weakness is surprisingly simple. It is an enormously expensive building that spends much of the year without a capacity crowd. The costs, however, do not disappear when the fans leave. Debt still requires payment. Insurance remains active. Security, administration, and grounds crews continue working. The field must be maintained or replaced. Technology becomes outdated. Roofs leak. Concrete deteriorates. Giant screens need repairs. After major events, thousands of seats, bathrooms, and public areas must be cleaned. Then there are event day expenses: police, traffic control, ushers, medical teams, electricity, and the temporary workers needed to move tens of thousands of people safely through one building. A full stadium, therefore, tells you almost nothing about profitability. It tells you that demand existed for one evening. This is where the business model begins to change. Ordinary seats may create the crowd, but premium customers often create the margin. Luxury suites can be sold through expensive annual agreements. Clubs and hospitality areas serve corporations willing to pay far more than an ordinary fan. Personal seat licenses can require supporters to purchase the right to buy season tickets. Sponsorships monetize entrances, lounges, screens, and almost every visible surface. Then comes the name of the building itself. A company may pay for years of naming rights because every game, concert, news report, and televised aerial shot repeats its brand. The stadium is no longer merely selling admission, it is selling attention. Parking adds another revenue layer. So do food, alcohol, and merchandise. But once again, the details matter. Those revenues may be split between the team, venue operator, concession company, or public authority. Two stadiums with identical crowds can produce completely different financial results because their contracts are different. This creates the central misunderstanding. People talk about the stadium as if it were one business with one bank account. In reality, the team may control some revenue. The venue operator may control another portion. The city may own the building. A separate authority may carry the debt. Private developers may own the land surrounding it. One party can win while another loses. A team owner, for example, may benefit even if the building produces an unimpressive direct return. A modern stadium can increase premium seat revenue, attract sponsors, strengthen the team's brand, and make the entire franchise more valuable. If public money covers part of construction, the owner receives those benefits without absorbing the complete cost. The city is making a different calculation. Officials may expect construction jobs, tourism, tax revenue, and redevelopment. They may also fear that the team will relocate if a new stadium is not approved. That fear gives professional teams remarkable bargaining power. There are only so many major franchises. Cities are forced to compete for them. But economists have repeatedly challenged the claim that stadium subsidies reliably create broad economic growth. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis has explained one major reason: the substitution effect. The phrase sounds technical, but the idea is simple. A local family has a limited entertainment budget. If it spends $300 at a football game, that may be $300 it does not spend at a restaurant, cinema, or another local attraction. The stadium has not necessarily created $300 of completely new spending. It may have redirected money that was already going to be spent somewhere in the region. Some money also leaks away. Players, performers, contractors, and corporate owners may live elsewhere, meaning part of the event revenue leaves the local economy. A stadium can still create genuine value. It can attract visitors, support nearby businesses, and provide civic pride that is difficult to measure. But those benefits do not automatically prove that a billion-dollar subsidy will repay itself through taxes and economic growth. Now consider the most extreme modern example, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. When construction began in 2016, the project was already ambitious. The new venue would return the Rams to the Los Angeles market and also provide a home for the Chargers. But its reported cost continued rising. Estimates differ because the finances are private, although credible reports place the final figure above $5 billion. If SoFi were merely a football field surrounded by parking, that price would be extremely difficult to understand. But it was never designed as merely a football field. The stadium sits inside Hollywood Park, a development spanning nearly 300 acres. Official project material describes residences, retail space, offices, parks, an entertainment venue, and other commercial uses surrounding the stadium. That changes the economic calculation. A major event brings tens of thousands of people to the district. Those visitors can eat, shop, and remain in an environment connected to the same broader development. The stadium supplies attention and foot traffic. The surrounding land captures value throughout the year. SoFi was also designed for far more than Rams games. It shares 2 NFL teams, hosts major concerts, and has attracted global events. It hosted the Super Bowl in 2022 and is scheduled to play major roles in the 2026 FIFA World Cup and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. The building is not trying to recover billions through ordinary football tickets alone. It is functioning as an anchor for sports, entertainment, media, and real estate. And that is the most important reversal in this entire story. The stadium may be the largest object in the development, but it is not necessarily the most valuable part of the strategy. Its real power may be its ability to increase the value of everything around it. This also explains why older stadiums can become financially vulnerable. Once premium areas feel outdated, technology ages, or competing venues begin attracting the biggest events, revenue can weaken. Management then needs renovations to remain competitive. More investment produces higher financial pressure. Higher pressure creates demand for more suites, sponsorships, concerts, and public support. If those new revenues fail to arrive, one problem begins spreading across the entire system. A successful stadium therefore needs several victories at once: controlled construction costs, manageable financing, valuable corporate customers, consistent events, favorable revenue agreements, and a surrounding district capable of benefiting from the crowds. In the best case, the stadium anchors a thriving entertainment district, increases franchise value, and stays busy with sports and concerts. In a realistic successful case, the building survives through a mixture of team revenue, sponsorships, premium seating, and occasional major events, but takes years to justify its cost. In the negative case, event revenue looks impressive while debt, maintenance, and renovations quietly absorb the gains. And in the failure scenario, the team leaves, the building becomes outdated, major events choose newer competitors, and taxpayers remain responsible for an asset that no longer delivers what was promised. So are billion-dollar stadiums truly almost never profitable? The honest answer depends on what we mean by profit and whose finances we examine. Some venues can produce operating income, but private contracts make exact standalone returns difficult to verify. What is much clearer is that ticket sales alone rarely explain the enormous investment, and public economic benefits are frequently overstated. A stadium is not simply a building where a team plays. It is a machine that concentrates attention, increases bargaining power, and moves value between fans, corporations, team owners, developers, and taxpayers. The crowd sees the game. The real business is happening all around it.